Imagine this scenario. At 10:45 am on a quiet Thursday morning, Tokyo's 13 million residents were moving through another ordinary day in Shinjuku, Shibuya, and around Tokyo Tower until every air raid siren in the city activated simultaneously. Emergency broadcasts lit up every phone, ballistic missile alert. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. Panic would erupt. People running, screaming, diving into subway stations. Because 400 kilometers away, North Korea had just launched 8 ballistic missiles. Target, Tokyo itself. Impact time, 6 minutes. In this hypothetical scenario, Kim Jong-un's calculation would be simple. Strike Japan's capital, kill thousands, and force negotiations. The assumption, America wouldn't risk nuclear war over a single attack. But North Korea would have made a fatal miscalculation. They wouldn't have accounted for what happens next. The defense activates. Within 4 seconds of launch, Japan's early warning satellites would detect the missile plumes through infrared sensors. An automated message would transmit to Japanese Self-Defense Force Command. Ballistic missile launch detected. Multiple contacts. Trajectory. Tokyo. At 10:45:08 am, the Japanese Prime Minister would be pulled from a meeting and rushed to the Crisis Command Center. Prime Minister, North Korea has launched 8 ballistic missiles targeting Tokyo. Impact in 5 minutes 52 seconds. Aegis destroyers are engaging now. 2 Japanese Aegis destroyers in the Sea of Japan would activate their SM-3 interceptor missiles. 20 interceptors would launch, racing into the sky to track the incoming threats. The first intercept would occur at 10:46 am, 150 kilometers above Earth. An SM-3 kinetic kill vehicle would collide with a North Korean missile at a combined speed of 24,000 kilometers per hour. The first missile destroyed mid-course. By 10:46:45 am, preliminary reports would indicate 4 missiles destroyed, but 4 would still be descending, entering terminal phase, just 45 seconds from Tokyo. Last line of defense. Japanese PAC-3 Patriot missile batteries surrounding Tokyo would activate as the final defensive layer, shorter range, lower altitude intercepts. At 10:48 am, the 5th North Korean missile would be destroyed by a Patriot at 25 kilometers above Tokyo. The 6th at 15 kilometers. The 7th at 8 kilometers altitude. But the 8th missile would break through, traveling at terminal velocity toward Shibuya at 3,800 kilometers per hour, 8 seconds from impact. Then, Japanese electronic warfare systems would activate, jamming the missile's guidance and using radar spoofing to deflect it off course. Instead of hitting Shibuya's center, the missile would strike Tokyo Bay. A massive explosion would erupt, sending water 180 meters high. The shockwave would shatter windows in waterfront buildings, but early intelligence reports would suggest no casualties. The missile had missed. At 10:48:45 am, just 3 minutes and 45 seconds after launch, all 8 North Korean missiles would have been either destroyed or neutralized. Tokyo saved. Preliminary assessments would indicate 0 deaths. But something else would already be happening. America responds. While interceptors were still engaging, U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, in Hawaii, would receive a flash alert: North Korea ballistic missile attack on Tokyo. 8 missiles launched. Japan engaging. The presidential directive in this scenario would be clear. If North Korea attacks Japan with ballistic missiles, respond with overwhelming force. Eliminate North Korean ability to launch again. At 10:46 am, the order would be issued. Execute Operation Thunderstrike. All forces weapons free. Target: complete destruction of North Korean ballistic missile infrastructure and military command. While North Korean missiles were still in flight toward Tokyo, the American response would begin. The US Ronald Reagan, 95 miles from Japan, would launch 28 FA-18 Super Hornets armed with AG-158 JASSM cruise missiles, 900-kilometer range, stealth, precision-guided. Target list: every North Korean missile launch site and command bunker involved in the attack. At 10:47 am, 14 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers would take off from Andersen Air Force Base in Guam, each carrying 18 Jubu-57 massive ordnance penetrator bombs, 30,000 pounds each, designed to destroy deep underground facilities. Japan joins the fight. The moment Tokyo's last interceptor destroyed the final missile, The Japanese Prime Minister would receive a call from the US President. Prime Minister, your capital is safe. Your people are safe. Now we finish this. Japan's self-defense force is cleared to join the strike. The Prime Minister's response in this scenario: agreed. Japan will strike with full force. I authorize immediate offensive operations. For the first time since World War II, Japan would be going on the offensive. At 10:49 am, 18 Japanese F-35A stealth fighters would launch from Misawa Air Base, armed with precision-guided bombs and missiles. At 10:50 am, 5 Japanese Aegis destroyers would fire 85 Tomahawk cruise missiles, purchased from America 2 years earlier, and finally being used. By 10:51 am, the Armada would be airborne and inbound. American and Japanese forces operating together with a single mission: destroy North Korea's ability to threaten Japan ever again. North Korea launched 8 missiles at Tokyo at 10:45 am. By 10:51 am, 6 minutes later, 156 American and Japanese aircraft and missiles would be heading toward North Korea. The strike begins. At 11:00 am, 15 minutes after North Korea fired on Tokyo, 28 FA-18 Super Hornets would cross into North Korean airspace. North Korean air defense radar would light up, attempting to engage, but American E-18G Growler electronic warfare aircraft would be jamming everything, leaving North Korean systems blind and helpless. At 11:01 am, the FA-18s would launch 56 JASSM cruise missiles. Stealth, low observable, terrain following. Targets, the 8 mobile missile launchers that fired on Tokyo, tracked to exact coordinates. At 11:04 am, intelligence reports would indicate 56 strikes on target, the mobile launchers obliterated in massive explosions. But that would be just the opening salvo. At 11:06 am, the 85 Tomahawk cruise missiles, launched from Japanese Aegis destroyers, would reach the North Korean coast with distributed targeting. 25 missiles would strike Wonsan Air Base, cratering runways and destroying hangars. 20 missiles would hit Sohei Satellite Launching Station, collapsing launch towers. 28 missiles would target Kusong's major missile production facility. 12 missiles would eliminate coastal defense batteries. By 11:09 am, North Korea's visible missile infrastructure would be burning, but the real devastation would still be coming. The bunker strikes. At 11:12 am, 14 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers would enter North Korean airspace at 42,000 feet, radar invisible. North Korea wouldn't even know they were there. Each B-2 would carry 18 Jibu 57 MOP bombs, 30,000 pounds each, designed to destroy bunkers buried 120 meters underground. Targets: Kim Jong-un's primary command bunkers. U.S. intelligence would have identified 9 primary command bunkers where Kim Jong-un and top generals actually operate, distinguishing them from hundreds of decoys. At 11:15 am, the first B-2 would reach its target, a bunker complex near Pyongyang, where intelligence suggested Kim Jong-un was located during the Tokyo strike. 18 Gubu 57s would be released, GPS guided to within 1 meter of target. Sequential impacts would penetrate deeper with each bomb, breaking through reinforced concrete and pulverizing rock to reach the bunker 65 meters underground. Intelligence analysts would later report that the final explosion created a crater 35 meters deep, with the bunker complex collapsed. The full extent of casualties would remain unclear, but preliminary assessments would suggest the facility was completely destroyed. Over the next 10 minutes, B-2s would systematically strike every major North Korean underground command and weapons facility. At 11:25 am, Japanese F-35s would join the fight, conducting precision strikes on North Korean air defense systems and military headquarters above ground. Japanese pilots flying combat missions for the first time in 78 years. At 11:33 am, 48 minutes after North Korea fired on Tokyo, the last American bomb would fall and the last missile would strike. Operation Thunderstrike would be complete. Preliminary battle damage assessments would indicate 197 cruise missiles delivered, 252 precision bombs dropped, approximately 31,000 pounds of explosives used. Early intelligence reports would suggest that every North Korean facility involved in the Tokyo attack had been struck. Every known command bunker where leadership operates would have been targeted. Every missile launcher that fired would have been destroyed. Multiple military command buildings would have been hit. North Korea's ballistic missile infrastructure would have been functionally crippled, though the full extent would take days to assess. Regarding Kim Jong-un's status, intelligence would suggest he was in a Pyongyang command bunker when a Gubu 57 struck. His status would remain unknown, possibly killed, possibly survived, in a deeper section of the complex. American and Japanese losses would be reported as 0, not one aircraft hit, not one pilot lost. North Korean losses would be estimated at over 3,000 military personnel, with 9 major command bunkers destroyed, 51 military facilities eliminated, and the entire missile program set back potentially a decade. Tokyo, completely safe, every missile intercepted or neutralized, 0 confirmed deaths. Global reaction and consequences. In this scenario, within hours North Korean state media would go silent. No announcements, no condemnations, unable to explain what happened. When North Korean media finally responded 20 hours later, they would claim, the heroic Korean People's Army successfully tested a new missile system. Minor infrastructure damage from American terrorist attack. Dear leader safe. Revolution continues. But satellite imagery would show the truth. 9 command bunkers collapsed. 51 facilities destroyed. Wonsan Air Base cratered. Presidential residences in ruins. The Pentagon would release selected reconnaissance photos, before and after, with a simple message to Pyongyang. This is what remains of your missile program. China would convene emergency sessions, condemning both the North Korean attack and the Allied response. Russia would call for immediate UN intervention. Emergency Security Council meetings would begin within hours. Global markets would react with volatility, Asian markets dropping sharply before recovering as the scope of North Korea's defeat became clear. The most dangerous question would emerge in diplomatic channels. What stops North Korea from using nuclear weapons in retaliation? Intelligence agencies would monitor closely for any signs of nuclear launch preparation, while back-channel communications would emphasize that further escalation would result in regime elimination. Japan would celebrate in the streets. Their missile defense had worked perfectly, and their self-defense force had struck back for the first time since 1945. The Japanese Prime Minister would address the nation. Today North Korea attacked our capital. Our defenses protected Tokyo. Alongside our American allies, we have ensured North Korea cannot threaten us in this way again. The US president would be direct. North Korea chose to attack. We chose to end their ability to attack again. This is what happens when you target American allies. In this hypothetical scenario, at 10:45 am, North Korea fires 8 ballistic missiles at Tokyo, targeting 13 million people. By 11:33 am, 48 minutes later, all missiles have been intercepted. 9 North Korean command bunkers have been destroyed. 51 facilities eliminated. But the real story wouldn't be the explosions. It would be the dangerous questions left unanswered. Would North Korea retaliate with nuclear weapons? Would China intervene militarily to prevent regime collapse? Would Russia use the crisis to escalate tensions elsewhere? In less than an hour, the balance of power in East Asia would have shifted, but the real danger would lie in what came next. This scenario demonstrates the speed and precision of modern integrated air defense and the decisive nature of contemporary military response. But it also reveals the terrifying reality of escalation in an era of advanced weapons systems. The missiles were intercepted. The response was executed. Tokyo was saved. But in the aftermath, the world would face the most dangerous question. What happens when a nuclear-armed regime has nothing left to lose? This is a simulation of what could happen if North Korea attacked Tokyo, a scenario designed to illustrate modern air defense capabilities, allied military coordination, and the speed of contemporary warfare. The technology exists. The protocols are in place. The alliances are real. The question isn't whether such a response is possible. The question is what kind of world we'd be left with afterward. Comment below. How do you think China would actually respond in this scenario? Thanks for watching. Remember, in modern warfare, there are no clean victories, only consequences we can't predict.